Hi, this is Cassie with MyCounselor.Online, and today I get to interview the awesome Lisa York, one of our fabulous counselors on staff, about an article she just wrote, Autism Spectrum Disorder in Marriage. So I'm super excited to chat about this, Lisa. I loved your article, so thanks for meeting with me today.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. Okay, first of all, tell us what autism spectrum disorder actually is.
Okay, it's a developmental disorder that happens in about 1 in 64 kids, and it is something where they have struggles with social issues. They can have repetitive behaviors and narrow interests, and sometimes have difficulty communicating their feelings and thoughts.
Okay.
So there's several other things, but that's a broad overview.
Yeah. Well, 1 in 64, I mean, definitely all of us know several people that have autism spectrum disorder.
Yes. Uh-huh.
And I don't feel like, I think you hear about it more lately than previously. And it used to go by another name, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh. It used to be Asperger's.
Okay.
Asperger's
So it's
disorder.
been recently changed.
Asperger's syndrome.
Okay. Interesting. So I can imagine how challenging it could be to go into marriage. You know, you meet this person, they are like super focused and you just admire that about them. And
Right.
you are so excited to get married. And then all of a sudden, you realize maybe there's a shadow side or a challenging side to their intense focus, their need for a certain type of structure, a certain way. I can imagine a spouse might feel frustrated or at themselves or foolish that they didn't realize that before they got married. So what would you say to somebody that's feeling that way?
Yeah, you know, I think one of the main things is that there is such a high expectation when you get married that it's going to be so romantic. It's going to be this wonderful ride. And every marriage,
Just me.
it wasn't just you. So I think every marriage has to go through that season of realizing it's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be exactly what I expected and hoped for. So this is where you would just realize that and then go for the long haul in the and realize this is an adventure and say, I'd like to, you know, research this. I'm going to read. I'm going to do everything I can to better prepare myself as a wife or a husband to meet my needs and also meet the needs of my spouse so that we can have a happy marriage.
Yeah. And I loved that was the stance of your article. This stance towards hope, this stance towards, listen, it's all about how you look at it. It's all about how you take what you are given right now and how you take it to God and say, what do you want from me in this season? How can I serve this person? You know, how can I make sure I'm taken care of and bring you glory, Lord, in the situation?
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Such a beautiful outlook, and excited for somebody to get their hands on this article. And in your article, you talk through a story. It starts with a couple and how they fall in love and what they love about each other and how that plays out. And I was so engaged with the story. I was reading it for this, and I couldn't stop reading. So I would definitely encourage anybody watching this video, go and actually read the article because it's so powerful. It gives so much good context to the situation. So your emphasis is on hope in your article. And what does hope for the spouse of somebody with ASD, I guess would be the
yes.
For it.
Right.
Those letters have a real but whatever.
Right.
What does hope look like for the spouse of somebody with autism spectrum disorder?
Yeah, hope looks like having just a creative outlook in just in a idea of what am I going to discover today about my spouse, and what am I going to appreciate about them, because their uniqueness has a way of showing God's grace and God's beauty just in who they are. So looking at a neurotypical person versus a person with Asperger's, there's no one is higher, one is lower, one is greater, one is smaller. It's not like that. Everyone is equal in the kingdom of God. Everyone can show his glory.
Yeah.
So I think it's just learning to recognize that they have some amazing strengths and also some weaknesses, and the same is true of the neurotypical person. So gauging your marriage and using the strengths and weaknesses in a partnership,
Yeah.
and not allowing the person with the Asperger's disorder to feel less than. I think that's very important. And then also in the areas where the Asperger's person is extremely strong, such as in certain intellectual areas,
Yeah.
not allowing the spouse to feel, you know, uh, stupid or anything like that, just so that there's an appreciation for both people.
That compassion, that consideration going both ways.
Right, right.
And one of the things that you mentioned that really stood out to me is how people with autism spectrum disorder can get really focused, and they don't seem to need as much like emotional, ongoing, touchy-feely, like,
Uh-huh.
as we would normally think of that a neurotypical person would need. And so you talked a lot about help for taking care of yourself when you're married to somebody that is like that. So, what are some of your top recommended strategies and resources
Yeah.
for the house of somebody with ASD?
Yeah, if someone has a partner with ASD, it's going to be essential to have maybe an ongoing calendar where you make an effort to put the weekend events that you enjoy on, on the calendar. You're going to have to be the one to take that initiative, probably.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah.
yes, and then also making sure that maybe once to twice a week you get out with your girlfriends, or husband gets out with his guy friends and just really enjoys social interaction,
Yeah.
and kind of on a deeper level where you can just really be authentic and real with those friends, because it's not necessarily that the partner with ASD is less wanting of those emotional connections, but it might be that they're so engaged that they just don't recognize it at the time. They're so involved in their activity.
Yes,
So,
that makes sense.
mm-hmm.
Well, Lisa, thank you so much for this article, and I really enjoyed chatting with you about this subject. For those watching the video, go read this article. There are so many encouraging things in there. I love the story, and also there's just a list at the end of great resources and things to keep in mind. This article has so much good meat in it. So, Lisa, thanks so much for meeting with me,
Thank
and
you.
I appreciate it.